So this is going to be my review for Marvel Studios' special presentation Werewolf by Night, which is now on Disney Plus as of yesterday. And since it is on Disney Plus and you can watch it anytime, this will be a spoiler review. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. Spoiler warning for everything that happens in Werewolf by Night. So I'm going to go ahead and recap everything that happens in this special. So the special starts off by giving a small introduction to this dark side of the MCU, where monsters and things like that dwell. So we get an explanation about Ulysses Bloodstone and how now that he's dead, there's going to be a hunting challenge where the reward is his Bloodstone, which would give the user special abilities. I found this pretty interesting considering in the comics, I believe Elsa was just inherited the Bloodstone and they kind of took a spin with it. That I'll get more into obviously afterwards. So we're then introduced to Jack Russell, who's walking into this area, which I'm assuming is Bloodstone Manor, even though I'm not entirely sure it ever got addressed. We also get small interactions among the other hunters who showed up. Then we find out this event is being hosted by Verussa, who is the widow of Ulysses. So we're also introduced to Ulysses' daughter, Elsa Bloodstone, where Verussa mentions that the Bloodstone would have been naturally inherited to her if she hadn't had left, and I think she mentioned that she left to be with her mom. So the disdain that Elsa appears to have for her father, I would have to assume is from him teaching her how to be a monster hunter from a very early age, like how he did in the comics, which is what I was going to say I found interesting, because in the comics, I believe she inherited the Bloodstone, but in this, it seems like she has a lot more of a disdain towards her father, and as a result, she left to be with her mother, and therefore didn't inherit the Bloodstone directly, so they had to have this sort of competition. So I just thought it was an interesting spin for them to take. So Verussa then uses an animatronic of some kind, which is either supposed to just represent Ulysses's corpse, or his actual corpse. It's his actual corpse being puppeted by like old-fashioned machinery and stuff. So the animatronic then explains that the Bloodstone is going to be attached to the back of the monster and that you must kill it to retrieve it. So all the hunters place their medallions in like this ritualistic bowl at the beginning and draw a symbol from another bowl representing who would go first in the hunt, which is Jack. So Jack and Elsa, while they're going through this maze, run into each other, but Jack doesn't actually want to kill anyone, it seems like. So they're separated by one of the hunters, like a hunter comes out of nowhere and kind of separates them, and they continue each their individual search for the monster, which is found out to be Man-Thing. So we also find out that Jack is actually there to rescue Man-Thing, and it looks like they're close friends that have been with each other for a while. So Elsa, meanwhile, started to fight another hunter and managed to chop his hand off and kill him with his own crossbow. So Jack and Elsa get trapped in a crypt together when another hunter tried to attack them, and then while they're locked in the crypt, they both devised a plan to help each other so that Jack could save Man-Thing, and then Elsa could get the Bloodstone. So Jack tells Elsa that Man-Thing's name is Ted, which is most likely short for Theodore Salas, which was who was Man-Thing before his accident in the comics. That was like his actual name and stuff like that. So they bust out of the crypt using keys found in one of the coffins, and Jack places a bomb on a weak point in a perimeter wall where Elsa finds Man-Thing, while Elsa finds Man-Thing, I should say, and tells him how to escape and find Jack. So Man-Thing successfully escapes through the hole in the wall, and Jack goes to grab the Bloodstone, which blasts him back with a shockwave. So Verussa enters the scene and reveals that if this was the reaction of the Bloodstone, then Jack himself must also be a monster. So the guards capture both Jack and Elsa for helping the monster escape and lock them up in like this kind of bell-shaped cell. So when they wake up, Jack tells Elsa that he is indeed a monster, but he only turns into the monster on the night of a full moon, and he always usually locks himself away when this happens. And he says that they had like plenty of time to think of a plan to get out of there because they had 5 days until a full moon. But then Elsa reveals that Verussa will just use the Bloodstone to transform him into his monster form on the spot. So when Jack finds this out, he immediately tries to familiarize himself with Elsa's scent as much as he could, and he tells her that when he turns to just look him in the eyes, and hopefully he won't have like this type of bloodlust, and he'll be able to recognize her so that he doesn't kill her. So Verussa comes in and she performs a ritual to transform Jack into his monster form, which reveals that Jack is a werewolf. So he breaks out of the cell and he starts attacking all of the guards, killing them in pretty gruesome ways, and then Elsa breaks out as well and starts killing off the hunters. So after a sequence of all the guards dying, Jack goes to attack Elsa, but recognizes her and does not kill her and runs away from the estate. So Verussa is still alive, and it looks like she's about to attack Elsa when Man-Thing actually comes out of nowhere and burns her to smithereens, because at least in the comics, Man-Thing's ability is one of his abilities is that he burns whoever if he touches someone, he burns them if they feel fear. So I think they inherently explained that in the special, and when he was walking around, he was just kind of burning everything, but obviously when he touched Jack at the end, he didn't burn Jack, so I think it's implied that it's the same type of powers. So Elsa then tells Man-Thing that Jack ran off, and now in the possession of the Bloodstone, the butler of the manor tells Elsa that he only wanted to make himself available to her, to which Elsa says, then start that by cleaning all this up. So color starts to fill the screen to get rid of the black and white, and we find Jack and Man-Thing in the morning still in the woods. So overall, I really did enjoy this special a lot. So I really liked the kind of vintage aspect style that they were going for with the black and white and kind of the grainy filter that they had on it. I will say one of the things that I don't even think I would say I'm disappointed in it, but I was kind of hoping they would lean more into a horror aspect than they did. There's no arguing that it was 100% a horror genre special, but in my opinion, and I am a fan of horror movies, so I don't know if it's the fact that I've just watched so many horror movies now that everything is just, kind of lost on me. But I really kind of felt that the tone of it itself was kind of more goosebumpy to me. Like, it kind of had more of a goosebumpy tone with just kind of like this added gore that you might not see in a property like Goosebumps, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't really seem too menacing and scary as far as the overall tone goes. It felt more like a Goosebump level type of horror, which, I mean, I still like I said, I still like the special a lot. I was just hoping that it was a little more actually scary, especially because it was being hyped up by all these people who saw it beforehand, that it was really gruesome. And I definitely think the way Jack was killing the guards when he was in his werewolf form, I definitely think that was gruesome. Like I said, you wouldn't see that type of thing on Goosebumps or anything like that, but just the general ambiance of the whole thing felt more goosebumpy than anything. But in a way, I kind of liked that charm about it as well. So it's really kind of like a back and forth. I do just kind of wish it was a little bit more horror-y and a little bit more scary, though, so it could be, full-on Halloween special type thing. And then I would say that the design of the guards was really kind of annoying to me, because what they did, basically, and they may or may not have done it intentionally or unintentionally. The way Marvel Studios be doing stuff, I don't know. I feel like it's possible they might have done it intentionally. But it's like the way these guards are designed looked very, very similar to TVA agents. And I'm not necessarily saying I'm salty because people were jumping the gun and thought they were TVA agents, so maybe it would have an aspect of that in the special. But it's more like, I feel like there should have been someone along the line that should have noticed how similar it was to TVA agents. They had very similar weapons. They had an incredibly similar uniform. And with the way the black and white film with the grain was filmed, and the way these doorways were filling like a bright white light that mimicked a TVA time door from Loki and stuff like that. But it turns out it was just a normal door that just happened to look that way because that's just the style that they filmed it. And I just feel like it was kind of like a tease. I feel like it was kind of done purposefully to get maybe people talking and speculating about that, just to have that not be the case. I'm not mad that there wasn't anything like that in it, but I just feel like this was an instance of them trying to play a little bit too much. Like, they tried to insinuate something a little too much from the trailers, I feel like, to get people talking about it, just to have that not be the case. And that can be kind of annoying sometimes. But like I said, overall, I still really enjoyed this, and I'm not mad that nothing like that was in it or anything like that. Overall, I would give this probably like an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10, just because the only real reasons I would knock it down would be that I was hoping that it would lean more into some horror aspects. But with that being said, that's really the only thing that I would necessarily find wrong with it. It kind of is knocked down a lot if that's the only aspect, but at the same time, it's not like, the most perfect movie ever. It didn't like blow me away or anything like that, so it didn't necessarily deserve like close to a 10 or anything. So I think it was a good start with the Marvel Studios specials on Disney Plus. I believe the next one that's going to come out is going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special around Christmas time this year. So I definitely feel like Werewolf by Night set the bar high as to what these specials should look like, and I hope the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special at least rivals it, especially in terms of length. I definitely enjoyed that. It was a short movie, so it was almost an hour long. I hope the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is just as long. So comment down below if you enjoyed Werewolf by Night, and if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content, and I appreciate you for watching the video.